Time for that big conversation with the Npp General Secretary, Justin Frimpong Kodua, who is sitting right by me. Leonard Senior, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning to you, Blay, and it's great to be here.
You've been General Secretary for 3 years and 7 months. You took over in July 2022. I mean, so far, how would you say your tenure as General Secretary has been so far?
Blay, thank you. But before I proceed to answer the question that you asked, many people may be surprised as to why I'm here this morning, because it's been a while since the New Patriotic Party appeared on your studio, and to a larger extent, Media General. We all know that after the elections, we decided to stay back until a further notice as a party, and during the course of the 1 year, there were several discussions between your management and the New Patriotic Party. And yesterday, the Director of Communication was instructed to officially write a release stating that the party has what we refer to as smoked the peace pipe with Media General, and therefore we are returning back to the studio based on some gentleman agreement that were reached by both parties. And as General Secretary of the party and the chief spokesperson for the party, I needed to appear on the show for the rank and file of our party to know that indeed the Npp is back to Media General, and therefore if our members see our communicators coming to your studio and attending various programs organized by you and even programs organized by the party, they should not be alarmed, because officially the party has come back to Media General. And we are all in this business together, and your station, and for that matter, your company needs us, and also the political party also needs you. We all work in hand to make sure that at least the forefront estate of our state institution is protected. But I know going forward, we are looking forward to having a fruitful relationship, and we don't need to go back to the past. And we as a party are committed to ensuring that there exists that level playing field, there exists that mutual respect between the both parties, and I know your management also adhere to that. And we are very sure that issues of national interest, when you want a response from our party, certainly you will know who to call, because you had issues whereby some people will label themselves as founding fathers of the party, as leading members of the party, only to come in and muddy the waters and state a position which is not a true reflection of our party. So we know going forward, whenever there are issues that you want clarification of the position of the New Patriotic Party, you know which people to call. And again, it's difficult to respond to the question that you asked.
Just before you come to the question, yes. I mean, because of the interactions with management, yes. Management also put out a statement this morning. I don't know if we can put that up on the screen.
Oh, that's good.
For now, we can pick that quickly so that we just reflect the side of management as well in terms of their perspective on the issues that are at stake at this point in time. And so that statement from management of Media General is up on the screen now, and it says here that Media General management welcomes the decision by the Npp hierarchy to return to our platforms across the country. We have consistently upheld the highest standards of journalism, ethics, and values, delivering fearless reportage and impartial coverage. Our commitment to these principles remains unwavering yesterday, today, and always. Ghana is assured of our continued dedication to truth and fairness. And it's signed by Sena Edeko, Esquire, for and on behalf of management of Media General as well. And so it's good to have you back. And I mean, what do you make of the commentary surrounding it? And secondly, the next steps that have been announced by government?
Well, it would be totally absurd, repugnant, and unconscionable on the part of the NDC government to label any blame against the New Patriotic Party for their incompetence. At least they have been in government for over a year now. And when they took over the realm of affairs, they were mindful of the state of the economy. In 2025, the cocoa price was around 3,100 per bag. And somewhere June, July, they increased it to how much? 3,600. So when they increased the cocoa price, They didn't accuse the previous government of mismanagement. They didn't accuse the previous government of having destroyed the cocoa sector. If the sector was destroyed, how were you able to increase the cocoa price? So that accusation that you are trying to label against the new patriotic government is untenable. If you want to understand the real cause of where we are as a government, as a party, and as a country, then people will also appreciate that, indeed, the decision by the NDC government to reduce the price from the 3,625 to 2,587 explains how the government is lost in the ocean. To start with, this issue about the crisis started somewhere in October, where cocoa farmers, after they have cultivated their produce, had to sell it to people referred to as purchasing clerks. In some instances where the purchasing clerks don't have money, they take the cocoa bags on the terms and agreement that they are going to pay the cocoa farmers X amount, which at that time was 3,600. At that point, the farmer never anticipated that a day will come that the government will come back and tell the cocoa farmer that it has reduced the price which has been agreed between the purchasing clerk and the farmer. So in fact, in Christmas, our poor farmers couldn't celebrate the Christmas because the bags that has been purchased by the purchasing clerks, they didn't receive any money from them. Fast forward. So at what point did the government get to know that there were serious issues at the cocoa sector? Governance is a serious business. And the difference between a mediocre government and a foresight government is to be your ability to predict the medium and long term. So the question I will ask is that, so when the government got to know that it was facing challenges at that point, October, November, December, we are in February, why didn't it communicate it to the farmers? And as a government, you understand that cocoa sector is the backbone of our economy.
I mean, just to take you on the point a bit about having foresight. I mean, you agree that even during the tenure of the NPP, when you are fixing cocoa prices, you take a look at the price on the global market. You agree with that?
Certainly. Certainly, but you don't change the price market midway. We are in the main cocoa season, right? And before a farmer goes to cultivate his cocoa, a price has been established. That is how much you are going to get. So through the processes of cultivating, hiring laborers to work on it, the farmer is anticipating that at the end of my harvest, I'm going to sell my produce at this price, which has been fixed by the government.
So in the event...
So in any case, that is why you're in government. Governments have, in previous years, particular reference to the NPP government, in 2017, cocoa prices plummeted from 3,000 to about 1,800. But what did the government do? The government issued a bailout for our farmers whilst it tried to figure out how to resolve the issue. So the question is, in the middle of a cocoa season, if the NDC government had foresight, were innovative, they should have anticipated that we are going to get to this point. So therefore, within this short time, let me provide a bailout for the farmers so that at least in the next cocoa season, then we can come and sit down and put on the table, these are the issues confronting the cocoa sector. But they never did that.
I mean, with the benefits of the state of affairs that we know, don't you get the sense of the possibility that, well, if you anticipate the prices and you fix the prices, and all of a sudden the price have gone down. One option is what you're talking about in terms of a bailout, but where you have a tight and limited fiscal space, is this not a prudent approach as well?
I'll be very surprised for the government to make that statement. They are operating the tight fiscal regime. But this is the government that is priding itself that the economy is booming. This is a government that is priding itself that inflation has come down. This is a government that is telling us that they have stabilized our currency. So where lies the physical challenges that they are talking about?
I mean, but that stability, if you read all the international reports, it's as a result of how we've managed our fiscal balance books over the last 1 year. I mean, now we are not in situations where our inflation has gone over the roof. And all those are as a result of deciding that when we are not generating enough, we are not spending much. So that just plays into the point that you are making. Otherwise.
Certainly not. Certainly not. Because governance is a complex and sophisticated regime or scheme. So therefore, you should be able to understand how all sectors of the economy come into play and make preparation towards it. When NDC took the realm of affairs and they appointed my friend Randy Abbey as CEO of Cocoa Board, there were experts at the trading room who were able to analyze the trend of cocoa market and therefore advise government on it. Ask yourself, where are they now? Because of what they term as political witch hunt or persecution, these people were transferred from Cocoa Board. So at the end of the day, they were replaced with people who have no experience in that field. So how do you come back and blame the cocoa farmer or blame the previous government that indeed they caused the crisis that you are facing? That crisis was created by themselves because at the end of the day, those who have the expertise to administer affairs there, you've placed them. And at the same time that you are complaining that you are operating the physical space, you had the luxury to buy cars for the CEO and the directors at Cocoa Board. You have the luxury to do renovation at the Fisher bungalow of the CEO. So how can you come back and tell the poor farmer that they should tighten their belt? Whilst meanwhile you are losing your belt. So that excuse
the last year of the NPP in office, that was when you announced to us that you are not going for the syndicated loan. Do you agree that that was a significant shift that as a nation, conversations around sustainable financing should have taken center stage since then?
Well, so when the NDC were making promise in 2024...
It's just a question I'm asking.
No, it's also a response to your question. When the NDC were making promise in 2024 that they were going to increase cocoa price to 6,000, what were they talking about? Didn't they know the state of affairs? When they were accusing the NPP government that we should increase the cocoa price, didn't they think about it? So at the end of the day, they should not be shifting posts. They should understand and admit that they are failed in the cocoa sector. They should understand that they have destroyed the cocoa industry. And the worrying aspect of it, maybe you have not had the time to really analyze the critical effect of the decision that this government has taken. One, it has created chaos in the cocoa industry, like I indicated earlier on. Now, there's a serious fracas between the purchasing clerks and the farmers, because I gave my produce to you at 3,600. So I'm expecting 3,600 from you, and it's a contract between the two of you. So now that you have reduced the price to 2,500, so what message is the purchasing clerk going to tell the farmer? That is one. Then two, the cost that the farmer has to bear now. Because mind you, after harvesting and giving the produce to the purchasing clerk, the farmer has to pay the laborer. If the farmer contracted loan from the bank, the farmer has to go back and pay the bank. So now, the bag of cocoa, for instance, if we're doing 100 bags of cocoa, now the government is saying that he's taking 100,000 from that 100 bags of cocoa. We have gone to the bank to contract loan. So how is the poor farmer going to pay back the loan? Again, we are in such a situation whereby there's a highly competing demand for cocoa farms. You know, most cocoa farms are situated in mining areas. So at this point that government is creating low incentives for farmers to go into farming, then we are also saying that at the end of the day, we are going to encourage people to go into illegal mining. Is that the state that government wants to create? Did the government think about it? That in their attempt to reduce the cocoa prices, it's going to force farmers to sell their land for illegal mining or for mining.
Okay.
So what happens to the future of our cocoa industry? But no, let us analyze this point very well. Then for the young men and women who, even in recent times, have shown away from going into farming, is this going to be a form of incentives for them to go into farming? Certainly not. So before the government took that decision, which I strongly believe, they never really talked through the consequences of their action. Because if indeed they had, the finance minister would not have come to make that public statement that they are going to reduce cocoa price. Why are you there as a government? If you are there as a government just to convert our forest reserves, our gold reserves, just to show up the city, and at the end of the day, you're unable to understand that the appreciation of the city has a tendency of even affecting our export. Any serious government should have been able to anticipate that and therefore have a roadmap on how they are going to cushion farmers. So the NDC cannot come and give us excuses.
I mean, the question I asked in the context of the system we are operating. And I was asking that, do you agree that the decision not to assess the syndicated loan marked a significant change, such that as a country, we need to have a conversation about a sustainable financing model? Do you agree with that?
Well, I'm not in government. It's the NDC that is in government.
No, but under your tenure, your last year, you didn't go for that.
Yeah, but under our tenure, we never reduced cocoa price. Under our tenure, we never shortchanged farmers. And that's the difference. So whatever explanation or whatever roadmap that you have, it should not be done at the detriment of the cocoa farmer. And that's the difference. So the NDC government, they can come out with their roadmap, whatever excuses that they want to give. But at the end of the day, they should not shortchange the cocoa farmer.
I mean, I agree with you on leadership. You agree with me that you don't think it's relevant?
No, because at the end of the day, the NDC said they can do better. That is why they are in government.
Do you think the MPP left Cocoa Board better than they found it?
Of course. At the end of the day, we're paying farmers 3,100. We are not paying farmers 2,500. So how do you justify that what is happening now is better than what was happening during MPP's time? If at the end of the day, NDC were paying the farmers 6,000 as they promised during their campaign, their campaign message, then you can make that analysis that maybe they are doing better than the MPP, and it will be there for everybody to see. And if you recall, this is a government that promised the operationalization of pension scheme for farmers, for cocoa farmers, to the extent that they promised that we're going to even operate 24 hours on the cocoa farm by sending light to the cocoa farms. And is this what we are seeing as a country? And at times, I think all of us, it bestows on us, irrespective of how we analyze a political party or government. When something is wrong, let them know it is wrong.
Is the party considering making changes to its parliamentary leadership? We saw the NDC do that before the last election. Is that something that is under consideration?
It's something that's not come on the table. And I don't see why, at this point, the party wants to change the leadership in parliament. For what reason? So it's something that has not come on the table.
Is the party at the headquarters level satisfied with the parliamentary opposition that has been provided under the leadership of
overwhelmingly satisfied. Overwhelmingly satisfied. Because we know the work that the mighty minority under the leadership of Afenyo Markin have been doing. And certainly we will continue to give them all the needed support for them to be able to continue to perform their job. But we are impressed. We are very impressed. We are very elated about the work that they have been doing as a minority group.
In Jabusia for me, say we a good news. NPP they are back on TV3 and I say Media General. We and I share in Kambum and I share our Ghana memohana emum and yet in Papamu and I say what Timmy were coming. And I just think Frimpong Kodua, General Secretary, at the NPP Amonu Koro. Watch it not being our NDC Amamuno and in your ma air coso, the Equi and the Enqui Nano. Watch it not being into one semester. Sebeko comment section ho ne nsem na waka no and say back no maba to Media General no wo je ne say ko comment section ho na chele wadwi unya subscribe ya message so subscribe like video we na share me no so unya bi enhwe me da wase nyakopo yira me no wo ebi shire sisi ya background bye bye.